Thanks for clicking on this video. It is a time lapse of a watercolor portrait that I did. I almost decided not to do a voiceover for this because I thought that's boring. And isn't that a little pretentious to think that someone would want to know anything about how you painted a painting? But anyway, I have this video that I took, so here it is. I'm going to try to not take myself too seriously here. Man, this is really going fast, and I haven't said anything about how I painted any of this. So, watercolor is really perfect for doing skin tones, and you can really just keep working on the color a lot more than you might really expect. If you see like, oh, I need a little more brown here, a little more green here, you just kind of can go in super subtly with a really light blend of it, and almost with sort of a scrubbing motion, kind of work it into the color that you already have on the skin tone. That's what I'm doing here on her neck just now, just adding in some shadows and adding in some different tones. And you can, as long as you go in pretty delicately, you can add layers and layers and layers and layers of color. When I decided to do this portrait, I was inspired by Kehinde Wiley's portrait of President Obama, and so that's why I went with the heavy plant theme in the background. It also, for some reason, it seemed like it would be a good idea to do a bunch of plants, because I thought, oh, that'll fill in the background and and make it more interesting. But then once I started painting them, I realized it was going to take me a million years to paint that much square space of plants, and if I wanted them to look good, I couldn't just be slopping color on there. I needed to actually look at reference photos. So that complicated it a lot. I'm going in painting some orchids now. I don't know what I was going to say about that. So one of the really big challenges of this painting was that it is a composite of like 50 different photos. So there are different photos of each of the people that are in here, and then the plants. Oh, these are the best eyes, I think. I'm pretty proud of myself. Started with a little half circle of blue, and then add the bottom part of the iris there. The trick to eyes, I think, is really getting lots of good glints of light in them. You know, really zoom in on the eyes as much as you can to see all the different glints of light that are in them. It's interesting in the process of painting because you kind of tiptoe around and don't want to get to the eyes because they're kind of the most critical part in the face. And then you got to dive in, and then as you do them, it really kind of brings the whole thing together. So many plants. Also, plants are hard, it turns out, if you want it to look like an actual plant and not like dumb. Not that I think these are like the best plants that have ever been painted or anything like that. It's challenging to do all the different types of leaves, and also to get the different highlights and things like that. Why did I decide to put plants in every square inch of this painting? I have no idea. It was a terrible idea. At this point, I'd been working on this painting for almost probably 20 hours maybe, somehow, which is insane to me. I think it was like 21 hours was how long it took me to do the whole thing. Oh, well, let's talk about this face. So going in with just these delicate little bits of color, washing them in, scrubbing them in. It's amazing how as the eyes come in, all of a sudden it looks really like a face. Yeah, but you go in with these super thin washes. So like, that's a red wash that I just put in on part there of that shadow, but it's so thin that you just really softly, subtly change the colors over and over. And you got to jump around a lot because you got to wait for stuff to dry. But you just kind of, on those skin tones, you can really just layer them in and take your time, and as long as you keep your washes super thin, you don't ever have to worry about like kind of mispainting with it. You can just gradually shade in and fill everything in. I really like watching watercolor paint dry in a time lapse. This bear costume was a little challenging. I really liked this like orange-brown color that I got going in here. I tried to paint the shadows first, or kind of your base tone first, and then kind of move in. Make sure you're leaving your highlights unpainted, I guess, obviously. At this point, I realized that I needed to put a bunch of cast shadows for the plants onto the people in this painting. And so I'm just kind of hopping around with blue, the really thin wash of blue, and just laying down some shadows. If I had it all to do again, I would definitely use one photo that was actually a photo altogether, because also using 4 separate photos for the people means that the lighting is different, the direction of the light is different, so it's difficult to get to make things all look like they're in the same location whenever they're not. Shocker. Anyway, that was kind of the process. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope this was somehow helpful. Sorry I said so many times. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.